I need to put my special light.
I
No,
can see
you're
it.
on. I can see it. Hello, everybody. We are live. We are ready to talk and discuss the game that we all really weren't happy with the outcome. I know, unless you're a Cyclone fan, you love it. You love it. You love it. Okay, before let's get down to business here. Let's remind you guys to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button, and do leave a comment. You can leave it live during the show, or you can. Oh my god, I got an itch. I'm not picking my nose. I promise. Or you can leave it during the replay, and I'll catch the comment later, or one of us will, and we'll respond to your comment. So let's just get started. Everybody knows how the game went down yesterday. We took a 13-0 lead into halftime. On one of those should have been a touchdown, but we settled for a field goal. Um, and so I knew that was gonna. I hope that was not gonna come back and hurt us. Um, the decision was. I don't think the decision was the coach's fault on not getting the ball in the end zone, but Paul and Jason probably pay better attention to that kind of stuff than I do, and we'll talk about that. And then, of course, in the second half, we let them back in the game, but we scored touchdown right after they do. And again, we try for a 2-point conversion, and it failed. So I think those are two areas of concern that maybe the coaches should have just took the points that were there. And and the thing that bothers me is normally Kirk would have done that. So could that have been Lester calling for those 2 pointers? But we'll get there. We'll get there and ask all about that. We still maintain a 2-point lead. With seconds, in the clock left, 50 some seconds, we give the ball back, or 40 some seconds, we give the ball back.
Hink is spot on.
What's that?
That Hink is spot on.
Yeah. The thing is then they get two quick scores to get in field goal range. You should have heard my language when he got to. I saw the field goal range marker, and I thought, oh, you don't want to hear what I said, because I said I knew at that point the game was probably over, but I was hoping for a miracle. And when I saw it was a 54 field goal yard attempt, I thought, oh, please miss that. That's a missable one. You can miss that. But when he made that, he could have made that from 65 easily.
Oh,
that guy was right on the money, and he had it up there in the sky far enough.
It's because he was from Iowa.
Hmm?
He was from Iowa. He knows about that rivalry. That was his best kick of the day. He missed from 42, made from 54.
Yeah.
Oh, that also happened during the Jaguar game. Is their kicker missed from 42?
Oh, and then makes the 50 whatever yarder.
50 whatever it was for the win.
Yeah.
Oh goodness.
All right. So, guys, how do you feel in hindsight? I knew at the time I wasn't happy about the 2-point attempt, especially after it failed. But when I saw they were going for 2, I wasn't crazy about it. What do you guys think in hindsight? Well, I guess in hindsight it's easy to make the call, but at the time when you saw them going for the 2-point, what was your first thoughts?
Well, mine's live. If you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see it. I didn't like it. I thought it was dumb. I don't believe in chasing points. And I always thought Kirk felt the same way.
Yeah.
I do not believe in chasing points. You always want to just keep kicking the extra point until it makes sense.
Yeah, until you need to, yeah.
If you're up by 5 with, 2 minutes to go, whatever, then you could do it so that way if they get a touchdown, you don't lose, right? So you go for 2 to try to go up by 7 with like 2 minutes to go in the game. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
When you're in third quarter chasing points, when you go up 20-7, where it's still a 13-point game, that didn't make any sense. And there's nothing with that said Kirk made that decision, right? I know he's going to say it, but somebody talked him into it from history. Whether that's true or not, we'll never know.
We'll never know. I got to believe that Lester was the one making that call. So everybody's saying that Kirk made it, because everybody knows from history that's not, Kirk doesn't do that.
Well, what you could say is Lester tried to talk him into it because he had a play, right? In
Right.
Lester's mind, they had a perfect 2-point play, and he talked Kirk into letting him. Like that's the way I see it happening, which tells you like no other OC would have been able to do that. It's like he gave Lester a shot. All right, Lester, do your thing, right? And then it failed.
Yeah. Well, I think somebody on your on our group chat said it yesterday. Kirk will probably never allow another 2-point attempt unless it's needed after this.
That was Brian. That was Brian, but I mean, it makes complete sense, right? Kirk's going to think back. Lester's going to want to go for 2, and Kirk's going to think back. Nah, you burned me once already. I gave you a shot.
This would not be an issue if both the touchdowns that we settled for field goals with 1st and goal inside the 5-yard line, if we had been able to punch the ball in for scores. I think the first time we just tried running it in every time, and we couldn't get past their line. And I think the next time every one was a pass, and every one of them seemed like they were thrown out of the end zone in the back. The one too high, even for number 15. I think he was the one, right? You said it was actually Z that went for it, but it was too high for even him.
It was Z, but I think they passed it every time. I don't think they really tried to run the ball, even the first time they got there.
Okay.
I honestly, going off of memory, which you guys all know isn't the best, I think I don't think I don't think they tried. I think they were trying stupid things, thinking that Iowa State wasn't going to score.
Yeah.
I really do. They tried getting K touchdown passes instead of trying to get touchdown passes.
Right. Yeah.
Look at the touchdown they actually got. They spread the field and they gave it to KJ up the middle.
Yeah.
Right?
KJ scored 2 touchdowns yesterday, right?
No, one.
One.
Right?
Did we have 1 or 2 touchdowns yesterday? We had 2, right? We scored 2.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe he did. He did score 2 because he scored that long one too. He scored from 40 out. You're right. He had 2. You're right.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, it's almost like Cade was trying so hard. It looked like that he wanted to throw a couple of touchdown passes because he wanted to look like he threw for 200 yards, 2 touchdowns. You know, said he throws for 99 yards, 1 interception.
It all was weird. Like it's like they just tried something new. They tried to use the wide receivers. They completely ignored the tight ends, and they didn't use the right wide receivers. Why was Brown able to play, but he didn't play? Right?
Well, he was a target on the one play at the end of the game.
Yeah, he came in and got targets at the end, and then Wetjen not getting those fly sweeps, short passes, those quick toss passes. That look like fly sweeps, but it's not a fly sweep. It's a toss, quick toss pass.
Okay.
Why they give that to Gill and not Wetjen makes 0 sense. Every time Gill got those, he stumbled with nobody around him. He doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't make sense. Your best returner, usually the guy who returns kicks, is a guy you try to get the ball in space, right?
Right.
I mean, every coach does that. If you have a guy with a joystick, you tried getting them involved on the fly sweeps and everything else. Get them outside in space and let them run. Instead, they were using Gill.
That's true. And you noticed, did Lachey get any targets his way?
Oh, he got targets because I can remember a couple of them. Actually, he was the one targeted on the interception that you didn't like, Dean. But I don't know if he got a catch. Hank says he didn't get a catch. That's probably right. I know he was targeted though.
Okay, it says no tight end. I thought Estrenga and another tight end. I thought they caught.
They probably caught a pass. I know one of the tight ends. I think it was Estrenga that caught a pass. But it was nothing like they did last week with the tight ends, and the receivers couldn't get open.
Yeah. Tink has verified that Lachey was the one that was targeted on the interception.
Yeah.
I want to stay.
Large was involved, but Large was playing fullback on his, right? He was doing a fullback.
But he's tight end / fullback.
Yeah, I
Go
know.
ahead,
But
Paul.
I think he. Go ahead, Paul. I'm sorry if I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, we're good. I just want to stay on the positive stuff. Early on, first quarter might have even been the first possession. I thought I saw some wrinkles, some stuff we didn't show last week. Nice. Heck, maybe you can confirm this, but didn't we there was a couple of running plays that were different.
Yes.
I don't know
No.
counter plays or what they were, but
No, you're right. I mean, they did run some different stuff, but it was.
so that was cool.
What was that?
I said so that was cool.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, they did run some different stuff. It was just weird. Like they threw. What was it? Like they threw the ball more than they have in a long time in the first half. Can't remember how many times it was. They were doing all kinds of weird stuff. They had some different runs. The toss play was magic, right? That toss play was magic. I think he had over 100 yards on that one play. And they would run it with different formations. But you're right. They ran different run plays, but they still were passing the ball all over the place as well. They ran a lot of different plays. You're right, Paul.
And there was I counted I think at least 5 times where Iowa State was selling out to stop the run, and Johnson still scored it up for about 4 or 5 yards, and he had one missed tackle to go, and he'd have been gone. That happened a good 4 or 5 times where if he could have gotten past one guy, there was nobody left. And we're talking within 4 yards of the line of scrimmage.
Well, I got a question on Johnson. It seemed like after they sold out to stop the run, it seemed like we were pounding that right side, especially with Johnson, a lot. And the one time that we went to the left side, Johnson got a big yardage gain out of it. And so my question is were we showing so much that they knew that we weren't going to go left, but the one time we did, they got burned?
That could be.
No, I mean,
or is it just my imagination that we never tried to go the other way?
I think the scouting report told them we just need to run it to the right, right? I just think they liked their matchups on that side. I think this is probably something new with Lester, is he's actually going to have his thoughts on matchups. Whereas Brian didn't. Brian just wanted to stay within the confines of the offense, where he didn't care. He wanted, if we have numbers to the left, even though it's a short side of the field, we go to the left regardless. That was Brian's style. Brian was all about numbers, where Lester, it doesn't appear he is. He just has matchups in his mind that he wants to attack. And I think the right side, he just knew who we had blocking on the right side could dominate Iowa State's left side. And if you think about it, for the most part, it worked. Like, it worked beautifully. Unless Iowa State sold out, it was working beautifully going to the right. Mm-hmm. So I think Lester was 100% right. It's just I think he wanted to showcase Cade so bad that he just threw the ball way too often. Even that last third down where I flipped out when there was like 2 minutes to go and they threw the ball. Mm-hmm. If you run the ball there, Iowa State loses a timeout, or the clock goes all the way down again, another 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Right. So that was a poor decision there. Also,
Cade
the poor
just
decision
took the sack instead of throwing it on
the
that.
Poor decision was taking the penalty for delay of game, because that 5 yards could have made a difference. If everything else goes the same, they're at the 50. It's a 59-yard field goal attempt, not a 54. And maybe he misses. Probably wouldn't have, but maybe he does.
I disagree with that logic, because I was actually hoping he would do that live.
Okay, all right.
If you remember, I was saying take the delay of game. That was the best coaching decision, because you don't know where the ball was going to go. Even if they didn't take the delay of game, that doesn't mean the punt's going to go to the exact same spot. That doesn't mean all that was going to be exactly the same. That doesn't mean that they were they wouldn't have returned it or whatever, because I wanted that last second off. But that's just my opinion on it. I completely understand the coaching side of it, right?
Okay.
But yeah, to me that wasn't the biggest thing. Was not running the ball on third down on that one with 2 minutes to go, making them use a timeout or let the clock go, because you remember Iowa's defense stopped them. So they had to use all their timeouts to stop Iowa, and Iowa got a first down. You remember that? What did they take? 4 Iowa offensive linemen to push KJ? No, the quarterback.
Push the quarterback. I think either KJ or Moulton got the last shove in.
Oh God, they had him in the air, just pushing him to get the first down.
Yeah, I thought he was stopped and he wasn't going to get through, but thank God they didn't blow the whistle and everybody kept pushing.
Well, with the new what's that called? Push, is it push tush, or what do they call that? Push tush. The new push tush. They don't blow the whistle now until it's literally stopped.
Oh, okay, that's good. They must have hurt a lot of teams by blowing the whistle dead too soon.
Yeah. I want to stay on some positive stuff here. Just
Okay, yeah, go ahead, go for it, Paul. Let's talk about some of the stuff that you were thinking about. I know you brought up some stuff this morning.
Well, first of all, I thought the CBS production was through the roof. Like it was
live ball.
I mean the drone footage, the drone shots from above, the shots of the crowd, the sidelines, the two guys doing the play-by-play and the color. I mean, it felt like, I think I said in the chat, like CBS knows what they're doing. They know how to make a game feel big. And you can watch 100 games on ESPN and it just all feels the same. This felt different. And then you get that CBS dun, 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 right? Like it was, at least to start. I mean, it was cool and it felt different. I liked it. So
no, I actually said that live when I was the drone every time above Kinnick Stadium with the drone. Oh God, I got goosebumps. I'm getting them right now thinking about it.
Well, it was kind of cool too. They brought that drone down to field level too. Yeah,
it was
getting some great shots from the field level.
Yeah, I mean CBS was. We haven't been on there since what, 85? They said
85, but we won the last time we were on there, so I'm not blaming CBS for the loss.
Well, the last time we were on CBS, we were at Penn State.
Were you on CBS last year? Was that a CBS game?
That was a CBS game.
It was the last time CBS was at Kinnick was 85. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the deal then.
Fast outdoor food had a good
Kirk
question.
Ferentz can't win on CBS. He's quite good.
Yeah, and the other positive thing that other takeaways is, if you see Iowa fans out there dogging Kirk and he needs to go and whatever, trust me when I tell you, Notre Dame fans are saying the same thing today. They lost to a MAC team and only scored, I think, 13 points against a MAC team.
And they got Riley Leonard as their quarterback. They have a really good quarterback.
Yeah. Hey, Hank.
So
I've got to say that if you weren't on this earth in 1985, my 3 daughters are all 3 older than you are. I was 29 in 1985. So
go back to the Fear Burger, whatever his name was, the food guy. He had a good question.
Right here, the fast food guy.
Yeah, this one's good because they are, but the reason that's not happening is that is the head coach. So, like, he gets nervous when he put in a backup quarterback for anything, right? So, but that's supposed to be coming. I mean, they're supposed to have packages for Sullivan for his feet. So I'm personally, I don't know this, but I'm personally thinking we're going to see that this week. I'm personally think both quarterbacks are going to play, especially if Cade has a bad week. They are going to put in, but I think we're going to see some run packages for the quarterback no matter what. And if Cade struggles, I think we see Sullivan no matter what. But that I agree 100% with this. There's some things they could have done to run Sullivan. I just don't want Sullivan throwing the ball. But
the other thing, and I think we talked about this in the chat, Coach. This isn't a Fry era Cyclones program, right? I mean, they don't get spanked by Iowa 55-10 and get spanked by Nebraska 70-0 and spanked by Texas and Oklahoma, right? They're in a different spot. They jumped into the rankings after the win. They're a quality team now, and obviously the way the game ended and whatever. The two teams really are close, and you'd like for Iowa to pull that win out in the end, and they didn't. But they returned something like 20 starters from last year's team.
It wasn't a bad loss, like Iowa fans want you to believe.
So, and we'll get to our picks coming up, but Penn State was in a 4-quarter battle with Bowling Green at home.
Same with Alabama. Did you see the Alabama? It was at the start of the fourth quarter. The score was 16-13, or no, 15-13. Alabama was winning, and South Florida literally kicked a field goal to make it 16-15 before Alabama went on a 28-0 run or something. So you're right.
And I forgot who.
Country. What's that?
Oh, I forgot who Oregon played, but they only ended up winning by like 3.
Oh, yeah. Who was that? Yeah, you're right, though. So many.
Oregon beat Boise State.
Boise State.
Boise State. Got to get it right.
And not for nothing, Boise's a good team and a good program, but, you would think if Oregon is kind of what we've been led to believe they are, they shouldn't be, sweating it out against Boise at home.
No. However, there are people, when, they talk about the group of 5, that, the highest ranked group of 5 team, as long as they're highly ranked, is going to get in the playoff. That's one of the teams being thrown around is getting into the playoffs.
I think that was before their quarterback got hurt. That's what I'm looking up right now. I think their starting quarterback got hurt, so that's why I was saying Mattson, I believe, is the backup, and he was playing pretty good. But the second half, he just he couldn't do anything in the second half.
Okay, Hink says, I thought there was one bad call. It was roughing the passer with Higgins. You guys agree or disagree? I mean, he obviously got rough. He obviously hit the passer, but it looked like he was clearly throwing his arms up and trying to stop himself from running into him. So would you call that in that circumstances, or as a referee, you call that no matter what?
I mean, I thought it was a bad call.
I thought it was personally, because when you look at it in replay, he was obviously trying to stop himself, and he threw his arms up, so it didn't look like he was tackling him.
And he didn't land on him. He didn't do anything to the quarterback that would have hurt him. Right.
Yeah.
He didn't land on him with all his weight.
The announcers were trying to call for what do you call that? What, helmet to helmet?
No.
Targeting. Trying to call for
on Higgins.
Targeting. Yeah. The announcers on CBS were trying to call for a targeting call, but they didn't get their wish. They go, apparently there's no targeting because the referees are letting it go.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
And by the way, I think we learned that, Michigan has as many QB problems as Iowa does. They can't throw the football.
Okay.
Yeah, Michigan they're going to be awful.
Yeah. I think when we started the season in my Big Ten predictions, Here's a couple things I've noted. Michigan is exactly who I thought they would be. Penn State's going to be exactly who I thought they were going to be. However, I underestimated USC. They may be everything I didn't think they were. But we'll see in the coming weeks when they play a little stiffer competition. But beating LSU was a pretty good start.
Who says who? LSU struggled with Nichols State.
Maybe LSU is not as good as we think they are, huh?
I don't think either of those teams are going to be as good as we think they are. Utah State was just born. Did you notice USC pretty much ran the ball down their throat every play because they could?
Yeah.
USC, that was a weird Lincoln Riley game. He literally just wanted his running backs to just keep pounding.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what teams like that who have so much more talent than the other team can actually do, right? If you would just pound it, like the Appalachian State, because you're talking about Michigan, the Appalachian State-Michigan upset. You guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Michigan wanted Chad Henne to be the Heisman winner. Mike Hart didn't. Go look up Mike Hart's stats in the second half. He didn't even get the ball in the fourth quarter. They just kept trying to chuck it around.
I'll be right back, guys.
Okay.
Right.
So, yeah, Michigan lost that game by what they were just trying to do. Sometimes teams just look what Nebraska did, right? They got up 28-0, but coach was like, "We're good.
Yeah.
we're not gonna do anything that's gonna let Colorado get some momentum, right?"
Yeah, I think Penn State and Michigan both get 2 to 3 losses this year. I think that group is going to beat each other up, except for Ohio State. I'm now of the opinion that they are by far the best team in the Big Ten, and nobody's going to touch them, even Oregon, because Oregon is. I think somebody said this, that Oregon was a little underrated. Yeah, they were overrated, and I'm beginning to think after watching them for the first 2 weeks of the season, I'm going to have to agree that they are not who I thought they were.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Penn State's going to be I just think yesterday was a weird day. I just think there were so many top teams that are just struggling, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you were lucky, Notre Dame did not find a way to win. Iowa did not find a way to win. But all these teams that we're talking about, Iowa State is better than all those teams. That's just
what we said in our preview, and what we've always said from the beginning, is that Iowa State would be the second toughest team on our schedule.
Yep.
And I think Iowa State proved that yesterday to be true.
And that's what I said. I think it was probably on your post. I don't know whose post it was, but I keep telling everybody, you guys are dogging Iowa State, not because of football, just because you don't like Iowa State. Mm-hmm. But they were probably the second best team on Iowa's schedule. I'd put Washington up there. It'll be between Washington and Iowa State. Obviously, Ohio State's the toughest. But I think the second toughest is going to be between Washington. But Washington has my quarterback, so I could be a little.
How are they doing? I know they've got 2 games under their belt now, but I don't know how they're doing. I haven't really paid attention.
Washington? Yeah. Will Rogers he's just so I know why Mike Leach loved him so much. At one point, I want to say he was 24 of 25 passing yesterday. Like, he just legit hits the receivers on target, on time. Granted, he was with Mike Leach for 2 years. But, Will Rogers is a stud. He makes me nervous with Iowa because the best way to beat Iowa is to pick them apart, right? Pick apart their zones. And he's the perfect quarterback. All those years when we would struggle at Northwestern, they would always just pick us apart, right? Where they would have that quarterback that could just pick Iowa apart. Well, Washington has that guy. So,
yeah. Well, that's what I'm afraid. I had that as a win originally, but after what we've seen so far, I don't know if I'm going to change my mind yet. I need another couple of weeks to figure that out. I want to see what we do against Minnesota. I know what we're going to do against Ohio State, so I want to see where we're at that point.
We don't know. We really don't know. but Nebraska's not even close to the second toughest, in my opinion. I think Nebraska's being overhyped because they played two bad teams. North Dakota State was right there with Colorado. Colorado is not very good. Colorado's not going bowling. I think Nebraska's overhyped already. It kind of reminds me of back when they first started getting bad. Like, people want Nebraska to be back so bad. Every year, if they do positive at the beginning of the year, they get hyped up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden they're going to come crashing down.
I believe they can go 7-0 if they can get past Rutgers. Before Nebraska, before they have to meet Ohio State.
Oh, I don't think so.
Mhm.
I think when they play a team with the pulse, we'll find out.
I think
Yep.
Rutgers is the first team that they're going to play with the Bolts. That's why everybody thinks that they can run the table on
That
7-0.
Don't they have Big Ten teams to play?
Yeah, but I mean, they're weaker Big Ten teams. They don't meet the strong ones until after.
I
Rutgers is probably the strongest Big Ten.
Okay.
I have to look
We'll
that
go
up,
with
but
that.
I
I
think
just don't think
Nebraska's.
I think
that?
Nebraska is one of the weak ones. So that's where I'm at.
Okay. Okay, let me dig out the schedule. Let me see real quick. Okay.
What's going on here?
Nebraska plays next week at UNI game. It's a trap game.
UNI is a trap game?
I got to see who they're playing the following week. That's why I want to see if it's a trap game.
While you're looking that up, I think Oklahoma also only scored like 16 points.
Oklahoma was losing the whole damn game as well.
Yeah. Okay, by the way, Illinois is better than I thought, and they meet Illinois the week after Northern Illinois, so that could be a hiccup.
See, and I think they lose to Purdue. I think they lose to Illinois. They could lose to Rutgers. They could lose to Indiana. Their schedule is not. I mean, they're literally playing teams that dominated their schedule so far.
Mm-hmm.
Indiana put up 77 yesterday.
Yeah. Illinois.
Who did they play?
Like
Eastern
Indiana.
Play a high school team that hasn't won any games yet.
Something
Yeah,
like
they
that.
did. Yeah, but still, the week before, Indiana beat somebody like 31 to. Yeah, I think you guys are going to be shocked. Yeah, they played FIU the week before, and they beat them 31-7.
Okay, so
But
Indiana might be better than we think they are.
I think they're gonna show us who they are when they play UCLA next week. I'm excited for that game.
Mm-hmm.
But Nebraska, I don't think is going to beat Purdue. I don't think they're going to beat Illinois. So
And they got Rutgers at home in between Indiana and Purdue. Okay,
I think Nebraska is literally with those teams. Like, I think we're putting them way too high. Just because they beat a very bad ranked 50th Colorado team. I mean, Colorado wasn't even in the top 50 ranking.
Yeah.
Iowa State was 29th. And everybody was talking smack about Iowa State.
Yeah.
I hope UNI gives them a run. I'm not going to miss that game either. I mean, Nebraska could. That's one of those games Nebraska could run the ball on every down.
Yeah.
Right?
I'll be cheering
Just
hard
pound
for
them.
I'll be cheering hard for UNI. Trust me.
Yep. Me too.
Okay.
All right. So let's
they're talking about Nebraska's schedule being pretty light. Apparently, Indiana played Western Illinois yesterday.
Yeah, they did.
Okay, that caught up on the comments. I forgot what I wanted to. Something I wanted to. I wanted to go back and talk about what Cody said here. If Iowa finishes 10-2, do you guys think they make the playoffs? I don't think they no longer make the playoffs unless they win the Big Ten somehow.
I think
you guys'
they do.
thoughts?
They go 10-2. I think they make the playoffs at 10-2. Especially if Iowa State keeps winning like I think they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna make that loss not bad at all. And if they could somehow keep it close with Ohio State or even beat them, we never know. But if they can keep it close with Ohio State, and they can, then yeah, I think, and they go 10-2, I think they're in the playoffs. They're gonna be ranked up there. Yeah. I think people are forgetting that now 12 teams are in the playoffs.
Right.
12.
I think too, though, you also got to take into consideration the other teams that have a chance: USC, Penn State, Michigan, where they're going to be, how many wins and losses they're going to be. Does a Michigan or a Penn State with 3 losses get in ahead of an Iowa with 2 losses?
I
And
disagree with that. I
yeah.
disagree with that 100%.
Yeah, we're not the part of the committee. I'll tell you
Right.
that.
I disagree with that 100%. Like, well,
Not
first,
only do I think we can make the playoffs at 10-2, but I think we could be making a trip to Ames. We could see a rematch.
Oh,
Just remember, though, if Iowa State wins the Big 12, they get an automatic top 5 berth, and that we would not, unless we're like, we wouldn't make that trip to Ames until the following week.
yeah. I mean, I just think yes, they go 10-2 with now. If they were 10-2 last year, I don't think they'd get in because the offense was so bad, right? Mm-hmm. They can't go 10-2 and have an extremely bad offense, which I don't think they will. I mean, they're already way ahead of last year, right? Hell, we have a running back averaging 8.5 yards a carry, has over 300 yards rushing, right?
In 2 games, so he's averaging about 150 yards a game.
Yeah,
close to it, about 145 yards a game.
A game and a half because he was suspended for the first half.
Oh, you're right.
That's right. That is true. That is true.
So, I mean, yes, you're right. Whoever said no is right if the offense is truly bad. I don't think it is. But if it truly is bad the whole year and they win the same way they won last year, then no, they're not. They're not going to put a team in the playoffs just with a great defense. They just won't. Yeah. That's why this shirt is here. That's why they didn't want Iowa to beat Minnesota. It wasn't a fair catch, but they said it is because they wanted Iowa to win or to lose so bad to get them out of the playoff talk. Remember? Because they only had that one loss before the Minnesota game.
Yeah, and so here's another thing brought up by Cody. It says most Iowa fans think the season is over. Boy, you would think so by reading all the social media this morning. I stayed off of it last night for intentional reasons. I didn't want to say or do anything I would regret. I intentionally stayed off last night.
Yeah, I love interacting with the fools. I mean, I don't understand how you're like this every year. They remember last year at the Penn State game? We're not going to win another game. This is stupid. And they ended up 10-2.
Right.
I mean, and it's that way.
Should have been 11-1.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
it wasn't a fair catch. They were 11-1.
They need to put in the media thing. It's 10-4 officially, but could have been 11-4. Put a little asterisk. Actually, 11-4.
11-3.
Yeah, 11-3.
Oh, that would have been 11-3. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But I know, Cody. Like it's. Oh yeah, Cody was in some of the chats. I did have him around.
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, I remember him being in the chat.
So that was I do that, Cody. I do that, but I enjoy it. I literally enjoy that. I call them the ignorant Hawk fans. So because I only say that because they do it every single year, and it doesn't matter. I mean, the only reason I say it is because they don't learn, right? Every single year after the very first loss, it's done. It's over. We're not going to win another game. There's somebody that said we're only going to win 4 games at most. There was somebody that was just talking crazy how the only game they can win next is Northwestern, which made no sense because Northwestern's not even the worst team on their schedule the rest of the way. So,
yeah. So, hey, guys, I just want to take this minute real quick to everybody who's currently online, hit that like button. And if you have yet to hit the subscribe button, hit that real quick for us. Help us get the numbers up. Help us get the algorithm. Help us get this thing pushed out to other people.
If you want to be pissy or snarky or whatever about the loss, at least be creative. Like, get your Outback tickets now, your Outback Bowl tickets now, something.
Mm-hmm.
Something that's an intelligent response. Yeah, you're right. We possibly could not go to the playoff. So say something about the Outback Bowl, but don't say you're only going to win 3 games or something silly that makes no sense.
Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, make a comment about what bowl game we're going to go to. Right? something intelligent.
Because second move of the season, my 11-1 record is out the window. because
Well, that's not so hot.
I have no hope of beating Ohio State unless we perform a miracle somehow.
I mean, they did in 2017. Miracles happen, right?
Yeah, they do. They do. I mean, technically speaking, it's my hope of
And
11-1 is still there.
But Will Howard from Ohio State isn't the best QB. He cannot pick you apart. There's a reason he transferred from Kansas State. Somehow Ohio State got him because he wasn't even going to start at Kansas State. The kid they got there now, the sophomore, he was a 5-star player, I think, out of Kansas City. But he was going to start ahead of Will Howard, and he transferred and ended up at Ohio State. I mean, that was just crazy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
We'll see.
No, that's fine. I wanted to address this question too. Just the way they lost yesterday sucked it out of me yesterday. It felt like a gut punch. I think everybody felt like that.
Yeah.
Because this is a game that we were fully in control of at one point, and we just watched our team in the second half just fall apart. Some bad coaching decisions, some bad play. You know, maybe a bad ref call here and there, but I doubt it. I wouldn't put this one on the refs.
No.
I mean, there was a bad call here and there, but that's every game. But this game is not one you can blame the refs for anything. You can blame. I mean, you can't even blame the roughing the punter penalty because they ended up with 0 points, right?
Right.
They missed the field goal, so it was like whatever, it happened. If they would have got a field goal, then you could have blamed that. That was bad, but they didn't. So, but the coaching, this was one of the worst game day coached games by Kirk.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. It was the weirdest game.
Well, he was rusty.
Do you guys
he hadn't coached the game in over a year.
He didn't get that. He didn't get that first game jitters out. Like,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I got one for you. Do you think today Phil has Castro and X running the stadium stairs?
What'd you say? I'm sorry, but Hank was spot on that, his last comment.
Okay, and his last one. On this Nebraska one here?
Yeah. I remember, I thought of that game as well. That's one reason why that's spot on. Because that game gut punched me. I was at that game.
The Nebraska one?
Yeah, where I believe there was 2 punt returns for touchdowns against Iowa, and that's how Nebraska won.
Yeah.
That was an awful.
Yeah. Go back here, Jared. I think it's too early to talk about bowls right now.
Yeah, it's too. Jared loves to do that. He likes to do the.
Yeah. But we love our Jared. He likes to come on here and he pushes us with questions.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. He loves to ask those questions. What about special teams? Like he loves.
Okay, the 4 games is a dumb comment. When was the last time Iowa even won 4 games? Oh, somebody's saying we're only going to win 4 games.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since we've had a losing record. And even then, we won.
I even made fun of the guy who said we were going to be 6-6. I was like, when's the last time they only won 6? Like, none of this makes sense.
Yeah,
we had a rough year in like 2013ish where we went like 6-7 maybe with a bowl.
Yeah. I don't even think they made a bowl game in 2013. I mean, they even lost to Western Michigan, I believe. And then that was after Mark Wiseman went like 40 yards on 4th and 1 for a touchdown to give him the lead. But the Iowa's defense was so bad in 2013, which is weird because they had 3 great linebackers in 2013, but the rest of the team was awful.
Was that the year that they had to replace the entire defensive line after we had like all 4 guys graduate? And
other than the linebackers where they had Morris, the 2 guys who played in the NFL, Hitchens. Yeah, guys, the 2 guys that played in the NFL, Hitchens and the other one.
Yeah, you have to go all the way back to 2012 to find our last losing season at 4-8. We've had a winning season every year since then. We did have a 7-6 season squeezed in there, but we've So you can't. We've played some pretty darn good ball over the years.
Yeah.
You know.
What were you gonna say? But I can address Hank's last comment.
I forgot.
And Jared's comment actually. Did you forget what you were gonna say?
I did.
Look at this.
Okay.
NCAA.
Alrighty.
NCAA.
Ink says.
It just stopped.
Yeah. Same. Where was I looking? I was looking at another one I wanted to do. That's a good question. Oh yeah, the one right above it. I get that one. Okay. One fan's comment: Iowa's the place where QB's progress dies. I wonder if he's referring to Llama. I think Llama has said that more than once.
We none of us can really deny that, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's only been Stanley, you could say, progressed, and because Drew Tate didn't. Remember, he started off with a bang in 2004, and then by 2006, he was not doing the same.
Well, they say that, but I think John Miller at the time, people were saying it. He dug out all the stats and said Drew Tate actually had better stats his last year than he did his first year.
True. Yeah.
I just remember him, like, he missed a lot of games. I just remember he was a little psycho his senior year. Like, he was just crazy. But he might have. But he missed a few games his senior year. Just remember how he would always yell at everybody. Like, it was just a different. Then Jason Mason had to come in.
Drew Tate, he tried doing the hay bale toss at Solon Beef Days or something, and like screwed up his ribs or something going into the season. Like, he was not. I think
that's just crazy that he tried that. I'm surprised. I'm surprised Kirk let them do that, because I think last year the winner also got hurt doing that.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
He got hurt doing it?
Yeah.
I didn't know he got hurt doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
Go to Jared's question real quick. Go up to Jared's question. And yeah, that one's pretty good, because he does make you a little. No, what about you guys? Like, when he's out there, when he's like scrambling around, sometimes he looks like he's lost control of his body. But then he had that one pass, right, when he broke those two tackles in the pocket, rolled to the left and hit a tight end. But yesterday, sometimes he just looked weird. Like, he just looks awkward.
Yeah. So I don't mind it, because he says he's fully healthy, and the only way he's going to do this is we're going to need for him to scramble and get out of the pocket.
Well, right.
He's going to need those knees. So I like it when he does that, because I kind of thought he sat in the pocket too much yesterday. And
I mean, I'll agree he's going to have to do it. He just looks awkward doing it. And I do have stuff for Hank. I want to know Paul's take on it. Hopefully Paul watched this play. The next one that's Hank. Because I do have something.
Yeah, I don't blame Castro for the throw on the last play. You can't have Rover covering the best wide receiver. What's your thoughts? Okay.
I think one, credit to Iowa State, right? Because they put their best receiver in that position to be covered by Castro, right? And so credit to Iowa State. Again, you still have to protect, you still have to make the pass, you still have to catch the pass, you still have to, right? Sometimes those other guys on scholarship are pretty good too. And
yeah, but this is where I'm at with that, and that's why I love that question. I kind of talked about this live on the show. Hank, you should join us on the show during game day if you're not at the game or whatever, because I addressed that right away. To me, it made no sense. If anything, Cohen should be playing man, because he's much faster. He's much more quicker. He's got better hips than Castro. Castro can't play man-to-man. I mean, he just can't. somebody else said this. I want to say it was Kelvin. A couple weeks ago, we talked about Castro going to the NFL. Like, he could never be a corner. And to me, this is why he has he has stiff hips. Don't go nasty with this, Paul. But he has stiff hips. And
I was going to say he's a thumper. So
okay, there you go. He is a thumper. That's exactly what. Like, he's a safety. So Cohen, who was playing back, should have, in my opinion. Obviously, I am not saying I'm better than Parker, so I don't want to hear any crap. I'm giving you my opinion. Is Cohen should have been playing that spot because they went cover 2 man under on those final plays. So that put Castro in man underneath, and they had the 2 safeties, Schulte and Cohen, back. To me, it made no sense because the moment you see Castro on your wide receiver in man-to-man, it's over. Like, Did you notice Castro had 0 shot? Castro was almost 10 yards behind him, pointing at him to the safety, going, shoot, get him. Yeah. When he was going down the sideline, Castro doesn't have a shot. And even the play before that, they did the same thing, but they didn't go up the sideline. They just did the simple out route, gained 10 yards, and got out of bounds, and it was on Castro.
Yeah.
So
it would have been much more heads up for Castro to just grab him and take the defensive holding penalty. Give him the 10 yards, the first down, and keep, live.
Yeah, you're right.
Down.
Because he had no shot covering that wide receiver. 0. Granted, it had to be a good pass down the sideline, right? It was a rifle shot.
Right.
Because there was a safety over top, which is why Parker does love that cover 2 man under, because you don't have some of the open holes when you're playing man under. But when you have, that was a perfect hole shot when you have somebody who can't quite keep up with the receiver, and then the safety's not going to be over the top. That was a perfect hole shot for what Iowa State did. They saw it and they attacked it, and it was brilliant by Iowa State.
Mm-hmm. Kincaid run the option.
Dino, we're about 53 minutes in here. Should we get to the picks?
Yeah, I was just going to suggest that. I just want to throw up Calvin's last comment here. New OC this year. We'll take time. New offense.
I mean, Calvin's not wrong. But the live is everything Iowa sports. Go to YouTube and sorry, Dean already did that.
I did, but you go ahead and tell him.
Well, I was just it's everything. Search everything Iowa sports, and you'll see. I believe the photo you see behind me right now is what you're going to see on the YouTube as well. I believe I used the same photo. My battery's dying. I got to go get the charge. I'll be right back.
Okay. All right, Paul, let's go ahead. Let's talk about this. I do have someplace I got to go. We have a house showing here in a few minutes, and I got to get out of here too. So, is he coming? I'm trying to stall for time here. Hink says he'll check it out. Yeah. Overall, guys, thank you. You guys have made this another good show. Thank you for all your questions, comments, and we would like to say while we're waiting here, despite how we all felt yesterday and maybe still feel today, the season's not over. We still have a chance to win another 10 games at least, and who knows where the season goes after that? Playoffs, bowl game, we'll see, for maybe 11 wins. So we'll see. But yeah, hold the faith. It starts with Troy next week, and Tuesday night, because I don't do Wednesdays anymore. I feel like, there's maybe a top 4 or top 5 teams in the country that are special. That they're kind of a tier above everybody else. The Georgia, Texas, Alabama. I feel like I'm forgetting one at the moment. But once you get past the first 6 to 8 teams, especially from 8 to about 35, there's not a lot of separation between these teams. And
that's what I keep trying to tell everybody. Yeah, you're 100% accurate. That's why Iowa still has a shot. Now, if they get beat by 40 against Ohio State, yeah, it's done, right? But if they make it a game, even if they lose, they're still in for the playoffs.
Okay, guys, let's
Hank,
do our picks how we did. I was the top winner today.
Hank, you are going to see 2 quarterbacks next week. That's just a hunch.
Okay.
But you won't see Marco. You'll see Sullivan and Cade.
Okay. All right, Texas at Michigan. I thought we all got that one right, but Paul made the mistake of picking Michigan.
Yeah, I decided to go out on a limb and take Big Blue at home.
I mean, that's a lot of what your record is, though, Paul. You just love to just you know what? You're a gambler, right? As long as you just go out on so many limbs. It's great.
Well, I try to pick my spots where it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe here's an opportunity to go against the grain and pull one out.
Yeah, you're right. That's what you do.
Okay.
I wish we could see Marco, though, Hank.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Kansas at Illinois. I was the only one to pick Illinois.
See, do you know what? He went out on a limb there, and it paid off for him.
Yeah. Tennessee at Northern State. We all picked Tennessee, except for our guest picker, Pat. He picked North Carolina State. Utah Tech at USC. We all picked USC except for Pat.
By the way, that Tennessee team looks pretty darn good.
Yeah,
I think they're amazingly better than I thought they were.
Tennessee, that veer and shoot offense is just amazing.
They're part of that, the low end of that top tier that I was talking about. They may be 5th or 6th right now, but they're still, to me, in that they're playing like a team that's in that.
They're playing like a team that has an $8 million quarterback. Don't forget
there
that.
You go.
Well, I can't. I mean, seriously, they gave him $8 million. He was a 5-star. Nico is a stud. He destroyed Iowa a year ago. I mean, Iowa can't afford to give a quarterback $8 million. So
yeah. There we go. Utah Tech at UNLV. We all picked UNLV. You guys remember off the top of your head what Hill's stats were?
I didn't even know he played.
He played.
I know he threw a couple touchdowns.
They said he threw a big bomb. Somebody said he threw something like 70 yards or something.
He did throw a bomb. I mean, he's got a cannon, but he just doesn't know where it's going to go. Sometimes it gets there, sometimes it don't.
Okay. All right. South Dakota at Wisconsin. We all picked Wisconsin. Cal at Auburn. We all picked Auburn. ISU at Iowa. We all picked Iowa. The scores. I might have come the closest, but it was the wrong team.
Yeah. I mean, I had 24-17. You had, what'd you have, 17-14?
I had 2013.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because I was saying
17, but anyway, wrong teams. Okay. Duke at Northwestern. Jason picked Northwestern. Me and Paul picked Duke, as did and Michigan State at Maryland. We all picked Maryland. So I went 8-2. You both went 6-4. And I'll tell you on Tuesday when I add up to the other weekly totals what we are, where we're at for after 2 weeks. And so, given that, guys,
Petrus has a bad ankle. Petrus didn't play. Padilla's gone. He's done. Doesn't play football. And Deuce, he doesn't play now. They let him play in game 1 to see what he can do.
They found out.
They found out. That's all I could say. They found
Labus,
out
he didn't ask about Labus, but I believe Labus had 5 interceptions. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Hank got it.
Yeah, he threw 5 picks. 2 touchdowns. So he's got 5 touchdowns and 5 picks so far this year. That tells you how often they throw the football.
Okay. Maryland had no defense, can't run the ball. I hope that's true by the time they get to us. Right. Brian Ferentz doing okay at Maryland.
Appears to be. Coach loves him.
Yeah. and he's just a administrator or whatever, right? He's not a position coach. He's not the O-line coach or OC. He's the.
But see, they changed the rules that the advisors
But
can
he is
now be on the field.
sideline.
They can be on the sidelines now, so he can actually help coach a little bit.
Yep. So he can work with the O-line. He can actually coach and do things now.
Mm-hmm. He took a massive pay cut. I imagine he did, but I don't know what it would have been.
Well, he still gets like 300,000. He's just not making $1 million like he was.
Hink says he went from
60?
900,000 to 60,000.
Is he really only making 60? That seems.
That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous.
I mean, it could be real because I never looked it up. I just did not think it was that small of a.
Jeez, put him in the pot. It's a good thing. It's a good thing with bonuses. He raked in over $1 million for a couple of years there while he was at Iowa. Hope he invested his money well.
Well, that cost of living in Maryland has got to be a hell of a lot higher than the cost of living in Iowa. So
I agree.
But he's going to be back. He's not. I mean, he's going to start coaching. Like he'll be paid as a position coach. He's going to work his way back up.
Yeah. Okay. Hink says that they showed the payroll, so 60,000 is for real.
They may have given him some kind of sign-on bonus or something like upfront money and then like 60 grand salary.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we do got to run because I got to get my part done because I got a half an hour to get out of here before our house shows tonight. So.
Oh, you got to get out. Okay. So when? Oh, Tuesday we'll do our picks. Okay.
We'll do our picks on Tuesday. We'll talk about Troy. And we'll have some fun again.
All right.
It should be a good time. So, guys, we'll see you same time Tuesday.
Sounds good.
Bye, Terry. Bye, everybody.
Bye, Terry.
Bye, everybody.